Hello and welcome to The Voluntarist. Today I'm going to be bringing you one of these fresh new perspectives that you subscribe to this channel for. And shout out to my 2 subscribers. I appreciate you guys immensely. You guys rock, seriously. But, so on to this fresh new perspective. Bernie Sanders. And I know he's not faring so hot, and while I'm doing this I will quickly look up some Bernie Sanders stats for how he's doing in the race. I don't think he's doing that well against Hillary, but we'll see in just a second. Delegates. Yeah, so it looks like Hillary's got 2,240 at the time of this recording, and Sanders has 1,433. Now, if we don't count superdelegates, Clinton has 1,716, and Sanders has 1,433, so he's still behind in pledged delegates, and the superdelegate situation is just ridiculous. Clinton has 524, and Sanders has 40. And I try not to mess with like actual politics very much on this channel, because voluntarists don't like to meddle in politics or get involved, but it's extremely interesting, and I have interests in politics. It's entertaining to watch, mostly because I'm able to detach myself from it a little bit more than your average person. Not out of apathy, just because I have a set of principles that I abide by, and you guys know all about that if you've watched the Voluntarist Perspective or some of the other discussion videos that I do. Sanders. If we elected a socialist to the presidency, what would this mean for the country? Well, in my opinion, I think socialist policies, like legitimate socialist policies, like actually socializing healthcare, making schools free for everyone, I think these would be the kinds of socialist policies that would go ahead and finish off the debt crisis, and maybe it would take a long time because, other countries have these kinds of policies, and they're in a slow decay. And the United States has the reserve currency of the world, the U.S. dollar, and the ability to print it at will. So, like any policy that's harmful to the economy or people in general, it would take an extended amount of time to actually come to fruition in the United States. Hopefully, it is just enough to start this coming financial crash, kind of the grand finale to the Great Recession that started in 2008, 2009, and was never allowed to complete so that we could actually start to recover. But I can talk more about that in a different video. There's plenty to talk about there that's already been beaten to death by thousands of people before me. So yeah, what I'm saying is, it wouldn't be that bad if we did elect a socialist to the presidency. I don't mean that it wouldn't be that bad to the economy. It would be terrible for the economy. But when you consider what it would mean to have a socialist, a loud's not the right word, an outspoken, confident, clear-cut socialist, no apologies. I am a socialist. That is Bernie Sanders. Well, he says democratic socialism, as if there's a difference. If you have that in the office, and then you've got your alternative, of course, would be Hillary, who knows what she is. She's a wild card. She has so many corporate interests who've bought her policies. She'll do whatever her masters tell her to do. And then after Hillary, you've got Trump, and Trump, he claims to be on the side of the Republicans, and Republicans are known for free market. And regardless of what Trump does, people, the masses will view it as a free market policy. Regardless of what Trump does, people will say that it's free market, and people can't take 2 + 2 to equal 4. They can't realize that policies which intervene in the marketplace are not free market policies. The only free market policy is a complete lack of intervention policies. if it affects the economy, you don't have a truly free market, and people can't put that together. That's why they blame the Great Recession on quote unquote deregulation that Bush imposed, which was actually more regulation on the banks to give out loans that they knew were stupid loans to give. How do we meander back to the crash? But so we've got this choice to make between a corporatist, a really hardcore corporatist, Hillary Clinton. She is in bed with the corporations. Trump is less in bed with the corporations. I think he's going to act majorly in his own personal interest once he has actual law power. And I know there's probably people listening to this that are going to hate me saying that, but I call it like I see it. He's stated many times before that he is perfectly fine with using the system for his own personal gain, and that's just playing the game. It's the same reason you can't fault people on welfare. They're just playing the game. It's the same reason you can't fault businessmen trying to avoid taxes. They're just playing the game. But once you have legitimate power, once you are in a seat of power, it becomes even more tempting to use it for your own personal gain, and even more irresponsible and dangerous. I personally don't think he can handle it. I personally don't think anyone can handle it. That's why I'm a voluntarist. One of the many reasons why I'm a voluntarist. But he will do the things that he does in the name of the free market. Trump. And the negative consequences of that will shine poorly on the idea of a free market. Whereas if we elect Sanders and the bottom falls out of the economy and we finally hit the real recession that was supposed to happen, people will directly blame it on socialist policies and maybe take a couple steps back and say, you know what? Socialism doesn't work. And we can finally end this stupid, romanticized debate over the glory of socialism that the West still holds, in academia especially. That doesn't really fix the problem with Trump. What if Trump gets in there an actual deregulation? And when I say deregulation, I mean repealing laws, not passing new laws to replace old laws. I mean flat out just repealing stuff, get rid of stuff. So if he actually goes in there and does that, and I doubt he will, then we're still going to have a crash anyways. It might take longer, or it might go ahead and trigger it much more faster than the socialist policies, because the socialists would borrow and try to prolong it as long as possible, and then make it take 10 times longer to crawl out of. Whereas a truly free market president, if there could ever be such a thing, would deregulate, stop all bailouts, and let austerity take its course until things were corrected. But if that were to happen, people would blame the economic hardship on free market policies. And then he would be a one-term president. People would run screaming and crying to Uncle Bernie or Hillary during the next election cycle, probably Bernie, because he's done extremely well with almost zero name recognition to start off with. So if this were to happen again in 4 years, I bet you anything Bernie would beat Hillary hands down in the primary. But that's besides the point. So if people run screaming and crying back to Sanders and they elect him in the next run after these crazy free market policies, and I use policies very, very lightly. I mean repealing laws and real deregulation. Once that happens and the economy goes to crap for like a year or two, because it's got to purge all of the malinvestments and blah blah, all that stuff, then people will be feeling pretty miffed. It'll be like it'll be a pretty harsh economic crash while things get sorted out. So then Bernie gets in. Then he's got a primed economy that has purged all the malinvestments, ready to go, and now we're poised for a real recovery. And what do? We elect a socialist to office. So now the socialist will be getting all of the credit for a legitimate economic recovery that was created by the austerity measures taken by the free market candidate. And I don't want to say Trump. I was going to say by Trump, but I don't think he's going to do that. So this is all just really hypothetical. Had there been an actual free market candidate, but there's not, and I don't think there ever will be. It's just food for thought, and this is all trying to explain why I think that Bernie as president would be good for the image of free market capitalism once socialist policies start taking us down the dark road of no return, which we're already on, but just making it worse. The debt would continue to rise at an astronomical pace, and maybe people would wake up and start to realize that we're not coming back from this debt. Something's got to give. It's going to be the economy or the dollar, or both. So just food for thought. How will the next president affect how people view economic policy? All right, thank you for listening to this video. If you liked it, please click the like button and subscribe for more. Shout out to my 2 subscribers. You guys rock again. And I'll see you in the next one.